as we enjoy more of our splendid hidden landscapes.
Heading west, the peaks roll down into the Cheshire Plain. Lush green fields stretch towards the horizon. Their calm concealing another secret, one of Mother Nature and industry battling for ownership of the Earth's riches. 220 million years ago, this plain was covered by a vast, shallow sea. When the waters receded, that sea left something behind. Deep deposits of salt. That salt has been mined in Cheshire for centuries, and the salt industry has left an indelible mark on this countryside. Now a quiet backwater, this canal once played an important part in the salt's route to market.
Hold it to me, hold it to me.
Jim Taylor has navigated the Trent and Mersey Canal for decades.
There were salt works all around this area, over to the right, across to the left. The area thrived on salt. That's why the canal was built, to transport goods and make money.
Back in the day then, I mean, this would have just been chopper, would it?
This was the M6 of the northwest of England, taking salt out, coal coming in, clay going up to Stoke-on-Trent and the potteries.
Salt was mined and then loaded directly onto the canal at sites like the Lyne Salt Works near Northwich. Here, brine was pumped up from below ground, dried out to form solid blocks of salt, and packed up to send out around the world. The Lyne Salt Works was the last in the country to use this open pan process. It closed down in 1986. The old mine buildings are now sinking into the void that was created when the brine was removed.
The top of the arches signify what were the top of the doors 50, 60 years ago.
Down here?
Yeah, oh yeah.
And it's kind of sunk or
It's
settled.
2.5 metres, I would say.
This shift in the landscape gives just a hint of the secret I'm here to find. A clue to the constantly changing world this canal is leading me through.
Since the salt works have closed then, I mean, it's taken on a new lease of life, this canal.
It's gone back to nature since the industry finished, and now predominantly 99% of the traffic on the canal is pleasure craft.
This once busy freight route has now become a quiet Cheshire backwater.
Beautiful.
But some evidence of the rich industrial heritage of this region still remains, like the magnificent Anderton boat lift.
This is the strangest feeling. We're well above the rooftops, in a narrow boat, looking down on the water.
This incredible feat of engineering uses hydraulic rams to lift loads of up to 250 tons between the canal and the River Weaver, 50 feet below.
Well, that was something else, that, wasn't it?
Very special, very special.
A wonderful sight as you leave it behind, because you don't really get a sense of the scale of it, do you, from the top? Because obviously you're coming in it.
Until you reach this level. It's not meant to look pretty, but it certainly takes the breath.
Oh, definitely.
The old salt route is leading me to the true secret of this landscape. The story of a tug-of-war between nature and industry that's been going on for centuries. Sheltered just a few hundred yards behind the banks of the River Weaver is a glorious oasis. These lakes, or flashes as they're known, are part of a remarkable fight back by Mother Nature. 150 years ago, a village and a large salt mine stood on this very spot. But in the 19th century, the mine's caverns collapsed and water flooded in. Twin lakes were born, Newman and Ashton Flashes. At first, the flashes were used as a dumping ground for lime waste. But in 2001, the area was fenced off and nature was allowed to take its course. The flashes took on a new life. The legacy of the alkaline soil on Ashton Flash has allowed an astonishing range of beautiful wild flowers to flourish. It's usually only open to the public on special guided tours, but park ranger Stephanie Hefferon works here every day.
I think the most obvious plant is this tiny little plant here, which is the marsh helleborine. Only occurs on lime beds. These plants won't occur anywhere else but on lime grassland throughout Cheshire. Another species here is the fragrant orchid. Absolutely spectacular species. Brilliant spikes of brilliant pink flowers.
But the real secret here is buried beneath the thick woodland surrounding Newman's Flash. When the salt caverns collapsed, they swallowed entire streets and houses. The man-made world swapping places with nature in a flash.
In the 1880s and previous to that, this central bund that we're on was actually Old Warrington Road. So we had the Platt Hill mine and all the housing and stuff that grew around that, pubs, shops, all that sort of thing.
What, down here, on this stretch here?
Yes, yes.
So we're over the very point where there would be houses. Are they all buried underneath them?
Pretty much.
Beyond the trees lies the precious wetland that now covers most of the lost mine.
And we've made it through, and here we are. My word.
Yes.
What a sight. You've got the almost golden sands across there. Crystal clear water here. It looks really inviting, doesn't it, down here?
It does look spectacular, but the thing that you described as the golden sand is actually the lime waste that's dried out.
Yeah.
So it's extremely corrosive. People have been tempted to go out on it before, but they learn very quickly not to, or certainly not to do it again.
Yeah, yeah. So, I mean, this is a very protected environment then, isn't it, for the bird life that's out there, especially from a human point of view.
Exactly, exactly. So it's an ideal location for them.
Yeah. And so quiet as well. It's quite an extraordinary spot, this. Throughout the journey that I've had today, I've seen these massive icons of the past, the Industrial Revolution with the big lift, you sense all of the salt works. I've been through the yards, I've looked at the buildings crumbling. And it is a landscape that's constantly changing. And this spot, really, it's a perfect example because it's been a mine, there's been a housing street just behind us, which has disappeared. And now it's a haven for wildlife.
Time to leave the flashes and flatlands of Cheshire behind.